First up today, we had a presentation from Mayfield Group Holdings. Mayfield Group, trading under the ASX code MYG with a market capitalisation of around 80 million, owns a portfolio of complementary, innovative companies comprising of Mayfield Industries, Mayfield Services, ATI Australia, and Power Parameters. Each business has a unique value proposition in the provision of electrical and telecommunications products and services. Our presenter today is Mayfield MD and CEO Andrew Rowe. Andrew, a warm welcome. Over to you, and please take it away.
Hi Paul, thanks for providing me the opportunity to present Mayfield Group to a wider audience. It's good to get out there and talk about the Mayfield story, who we are and where we're going. Just move through the slides please. Usual disclaimers. Today I'll just go a brief overview of Mayfield, who we are, what we do and our origins, financial performance to date, a bit of our market, where we are, where we play and what we do, and a forward look on our strategy and outlook post this financial year. Thank you. Okay, into the overview. Mayfield, we're not a new company. We've been in operation since 1936, so we're rapidly approaching our 90th birthday. We started in South Australia as the Mayfield Group, an electrical contractor. Our modern story really commences in around about June 2012, when the management of the company bought the business from Leighton Contractors and then focused fundamentally on supply and installation of switchboards for the electrical market. Since the management buyout in 2020, we've enjoyed about 20% revenue growth over the last decade, and that culminated in our listing on the Australian stock market in 2020 under the ticker MYG. Annual revenues of the group are about 80 million. We've had an NPAT in the last financial year of about 7.5%. We've paid our maiden dividend in FY23. We've made 3 successive dividend payments since then. But who are we and what do we do? I've jumped into the financials. I should talk about the company. As Paul introduced, we're a South Australian-based manufacturer of electrical equipment, which is fundamentally switchboards, switch rooms, and telecommunications equipment. The core business is Mayfield Industries, that's headquartered in South Australia. We also have a factory and an operation in Western Australia to support that market. Mayfield Services is our services arm, and that basically does what it says on the tin. We service our equipment, high voltage, medium voltage and low voltage, and we like to provide a complete range of service, maintenance service offerings for renewables, electrical companies, power companies, mining companies. ATI Australia is headquartered in Sydney with operations up in Queensland and Melbourne, and they are specialists in telecommunications equipment, again with a service arm. So that's microwave, fibre, private Wi-Fi, anything that supports remote and regional communications. And Power Parameters is the power test equipment side of the business. What we do there is basically sell test equipment to a range of customers who want to monitor, understand and know more about their power networks. But going back to Mayfield in terms of that, we're doing really well in the market at the moment. Revenues are approaching over 80 million. We're ex-dividend. We've paid 3 dividends in a row and we set to continue with that. Cash position is really good and we're very well poised to grow into our market. Okay, next slide if I could please. So the story so far, again, our modern story starts from 2012 with the management buyout of Mayfield from Leighton. Fast forward through to 2013, 2015 and 2016, we picked up significant license agreements to manufacture Schneider electric equipment. We then bought our own IP called Modulcell and developed our own switchboard, which we've started selling from 2016. We then bought the STE business, which is our service arm, which is still in operation today and doing very well, now under the banner of Mayfield Services, of course. 2018, we launched into WA, and that's just been a fantastic environment for us and very heavily supporting the mining industry there, and that operation is really set to grow, but more on that later. 2020, we listed on the ASX, and today we find us with a 80 million market cap and a very, very healthy position. Fast forward 21, we've bought the ATI, the communications business. We then purchased our fabrication facility off the market in Edinburgh, South Australia, so we own our own properties. And we've now been partnering with a number of industry players such as Magellan to manufacture DC and AC equipment, chargers and the like, and also with Lystung to MV. Now, more recently, our work in hand has grown to a record 80 million. We've got an order book that sees us right through the calendar year of 25, and we've recently just received our accreditation from the Department of Defence. Thank you. In terms of the share history, it's been going really well. We're currently edging about the high 80, low 90s in terms of our share price. That's grown up from about 40 cents about late last year. Market cap of about 80 mil. Very strong board. Simon, Alan, Sue, all in the electrical industry for a long time as contractors. Alan was behind the original management buyout of the company back in 2012. Lindsay brings our corporate side. He's with Nightingale Partners and helps us with all the business advisory at that end. But a very strong credential board and very supportive of where we're going. Thank you. In terms of the finances, just the next slide. As I said, our last financial year revenue was about 80 mil, 30 million in net assets around our facilities in South Australia and our plant and equipment. Cash is increasing about 87%. NPATs are coming in at about 6 million. We're actually in an enviable position following the reverse takeover where we have deferred tax assets, which means that we're probably able to exercise those for at least the next 2 years. Cash on hand, this is from the last financial year, was 5 million. That's up 87%. We're probably sitting now cash on hand at about 10 to 11 million. Earnings per share as of last year, 3 cents. That's going up as well. EBITDA is right in performance at about 8%, and we've got a 20% return on equity. So very, very, very healthy financials. Thank you. In terms of the market, who are our customers, what do we do and where do we do it? A lot of customers at the moment are coming from the mining sector. There's lots of expansions happening in mining, particularly in the iron ore sector and the critical minerals sector, which is lithium, copper, rare earths. We're working with BHP, FMG, Rio, Pilbara. As they expand, they're coming to us now, not for individual switch rooms, but for programs of switch rooms. And in particular, some customers are engaging us to do up to 22 individual switch rooms to support their expansion over numerous years. The utilities are also a key client. As energy transition kicks in and the nature of the grids change, there's lots of demand for switch rooms and switch gear to support private networks, for renewables to connect to the grid, and also to put in community batteries and other non-regulated systems as they're called. Infrastructure, high demand again. We know that electric vehicles are coming into the mix. We've just finished a very large program of work through a contractor to support the rail upgrades in Western Australia. For MetroNet, that was about 7 individual rooms that went there. With defence, we're seeing lots of work coming through now as well. That's green shoots at the moment. There's lots happening. It's defence, so I can't really talk about what we're doing, but there is a lot of activity that's coming our way. Essential services, I'll talk a little bit about electrical transformation. Everything's going electric. There's work coming through for data centres, which are big consumers of power. They all need to be backed up with battery systems, uninterruptible power supplies, and anything that makes sure that the energy keeps flowing and doesn't go dark. Renewables I've discussed. Renewables are coming in as standalone projects, standalone battery systems, solar, wind, and also behind mining and energy, which are also looking at doing their own renewable installations as they push towards net zero. And of course energy, which is again, the energy industry is decarbonising as well. They're putting in carbon sequestration, and there's been a bit of an announcement just recently about the federal government supporting energy as part of the transition fuel. So I can see more green shoots coming through there with what's going to happen with the energy market. We're looking forward-looking. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of interest in what we're doing. We can see about $1 billion worth of pipeline work over the next 2 years. that's quite an exciting time, and we're going to be quite buoyant about what we do and who we do it for, and we really like to work with the companies you see there, the end users, and provide them with a quality product. Next slide, please. The demand for Mayfield really is driven by energy transition. Now, this is a pretty complicated slide, and I don't want to go through it in great detail, but starting around that little mind map down the bottom, our customers are contemplating everything they do in the energy mix with the fuels that they use, the minerals and where they get them from, what they're doing with battery storage. Previously, to keep power on, we'd have diesel backup supplies. They're now becoming batteries to make sure that the energy keeps on. Natural gas is still in the mix as a transition fuel. Renewable powers are coming in. Hydrogen is coming in as a new transition fuel for dispatchable energy and for transportation. Energy efficiency is in the mix. As people consume more energy, they have to consume it better. And other solutions for carbon capture and sequestration. So what we see happening is, as everyone goes through their energy transition journey and they push towards net zero, we're at the intersection of that. We supply switchboards, switchgear, power conversion equipment, battery systems, communication systems, and we're going to help all of our customers transform. The slide down the bottom right, where we talk about industry, that's a little slide that shows demand for electricity in Australia. Industry is going to double its demand and consumption through data centres, through electrified processes, with diesel coming out of the mix. Transportation is all going electric. There's just massive growth there. And again, there's also going to be growth in consumption through commercial and residential. Again, why is that important to Mayfield? We supply electrical equipment for the infrastructure that is used to switch energy. So it's an exciting time for us. Next slide, please. Strategy and outlook. We've had a really good, strong start to FY24, driven by our strong order book. When I joined the company, our work in hand was about 30 million. It's now sitting at about 85 million, with a really healthy mix of clients and market sectors. We've re-signed our agreements with our major suppliers for critical power equipment with Magellan, and also by renewing our medium voltage supply with Lifestyle Energy. And as I've said previously, massively strong pipeline in mining, critical minerals, data centres and renewables, which is all driving growth. How are we going to deliver on that? Well, the aspirational target is we see ourselves as a 2 million revenue company by 2030. How are we going to get there? Well, we want to invest in smart technologies that capture a market in managed power products. What does that mean? We want to sell smart equipment that's got diagnostics and can monitor and look after itself. We're looking at acquisitions. I'm not going to get there organically. There's lots happening in the sector, and I'm looking for acquisitions that will help support our manufacturing business, bring in new products, and also expand our geographic footprint across Australia. We are going to increase our footprint across Australia. One of the things I need to do is improve the efficiency in manufacturing at Edinburgh. We can do more there in South Australia with what we manufacture. Our West Australian facility is becoming a little bit small. We're looking at expanding that and doubling that and moving into a new premise there. And there's other opportunities to do more with electrical products, expanding our licensing agreement and bringing quality power equipment into Australia. And above and all that, we need to digitise our entire operation, get more streamlined and get better at what we do. And just the last slide. And so our strategy going forward really is just a reiteration of what I said. It's to retain the focus on quality revenue, look for growth, grow our presence in telecoms and power quality, invest in ourselves and optimise our manufacturing, commit to grow and expand our WA. I want to get into smart technologies and smart switch rooms. Our switch rooms should be sending out signals to our service techs so we know when things are ready to be serviced, and we can do that a lot more adaptively. Offer more power quality and power conversion equipment. As renewables come in, they're DC, we've got to convert them to AC. There's a lot we can do there. Battery systems and battery management systems are a key component of what we want to sell. And of course, we're not just going to support energy transition, we're going to make sure that we become net zero. We're putting in about 200 kilowatts of solar at our factory in Adelaide, and we're going to back that up with 100 kilowatts of battery so we can be as self-reliant as we can with our own energy demand.
Thanks for that fantastic presentation. And I have to say, on the financials, some of the strongest financials I've seen on this webinar series for some time. I've got a heap of questions that have come through, very interactive audience today. First one around slide 11, you had some pictures of who your clients are. Just talk us through, and it's an A-list of clients. Who are the clients, and who are the bigger clients that Mayfield operates with?
Oh, sure. I'm happy. A lot of the clients at the moment, mining is always the first mover when any sort of transition program happens. We're doing a lot of work at the moment with Rio Tinto, BHP, Fortescue, Pilbara Minerals are coming in. We're doing a lot of work for their Pilgangarra. So that sort of captures the sort of mining market. On the energy side, we've just finished a large program of work for Santos for their carbon sequestration initiative, providing all the switch rooms and the like for that. With the utilities, SA Water, we're doing a lot of work on the service side. We're doing work for Canadian Solar, supporting their wind farms and solar farms. We're doing a lot of work with Vic Police over in Victoria. We've just finished a large program of work through one of the contractors for Metronet for the railway expansion. Oh God, Electronet, we're doing a lot of work for. The list, I could go on for a long time, but they're all blue chip, top tier mining companies, energy companies, utilities. And I can't forget NextDC. We're doing a lot of work for them for their data centers as well. They wouldn't forgive me if I didn't give them a plug.
Very impressive set of clients, and a few questions around this. Double question: who are your biggest competitors, and how do you differentiate yourself from these competitors?
Do I need to give my competitors a shout out? No, look, we compete against companies like Lay Switchboards, Nielsen's from time to time, and surprisingly, companies like ABB when they want to bring in large prepackaged substations. That's sort of who our competitors are. What sets us apart is that we fundamentally manufacture everything here in Australia. We made a decision in 2019 not to import fabricated steel, anything like that from offshore. We do all our own fabrication here. We import the copper bus bar, we cut it, weld it and put it together here. We assemble our base frames, our switch rooms and everything is done locally. We import things like circuit breakers and other things that are made overseas, of course, because there's no supply for that here in Australia. What sets us apart is that we're a quality product, we're a type tested board, it's inherently safe, it meets all Australian standards, and we can provide a speed of response and a quality that our competitors can't, because we do everything here.
Question here: how confident are you that the order book will continue to grow into 2025, and is there potential for further margin expansion? If so, how can management deliver this?
Yeah, there is. I'm very confident in the order book. I see that being quite sustainable and growing organically for the foreseeable future, again driven by energy transition and demand for our products. In terms of margin expansion, well, I think there's real opportunity for that. We've just embarked and announced a program in South Australia for our manufacturing facility, which is around Lean and Six Sigma, which is to do what we do more efficiently. So that will allow us to get product out quicker with less waste. We're also seeing a lot of benefits of that now with the early shoots that we're getting there. And our clients now are engaging us directly, particularly at the top level, and they're talking to us about programs of switchboards and switch rooms rather than individuals. So all of those coalesce to really healthy margins and long-term prospectivity for the company.
Fantastic. We've got time for one more question. There are more on the system that maybe you can answer afterwards, but just finish up with this one. Someone's asking, are there any opportunities for Mayfield entering into the international markets?
Wow, that's a left field question. Short answer, yes. Now, because we provide Australian-made switchgear for the Australian market, it's regulated by the way that works to meet our electrical systems. Our clients are taking things overseas, and we will follow our clients if they choose to go there. And there's also opportunities for us to look at what is made overseas, particularly in the medium voltage space, which we do with Lystung, and there's a few other suppliers, and to support them with what they do as well.
Fantastic. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time today. If you can answer a few more of those questions afterwards, that'd be much appreciated. Have a great weekend.
Happy to do so. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everyone.